Good day everyone, this video is for the laboratory exercise of Chapter 10, DHCP for the course of Data Communications and Networking 2. Okay, so for this laboratory exercise, we would be needing 4 PC, a switch, a router, and a server. So after building the topology and cabling the network, the first thing that we would like to do is to configure the basic settings for the router and the switch, which is called the housekeeping. Okay, housekeeping is consisted of the codes that would create a password for the console, configure the hostname, enable the password for the exec mode, disable the DNS lookup, and creating a banner. So as you can see here, hostname R1, disabling the DNS lookup, enabling the exec mode password, creating a banner, creating a password for the console for the VTY connections, which is the virtual terminal lines, and then encrypting the passwords that we have configured using the command service password -encryption. And we're also gonna need to do the same configuration on the switch on our network. Just enter the global configuration mode and just do the same thing. We're just gonna need to change the host name since this is S1. Now, after configuring the basic settings, we should move on with configuring the IP addresses that we are using on this network. So let's start on the router 1. On router 1, we are using the port FA0/0, and the IP address on this network should be 192.168.1.1, followed by the command no shut to enable the port that we are using. Okay, now let's move on to switch 1. Okay, so we're gonna need to declare the IP address for the VLAN 1, which is the default VLAN for the switch 1 that we have here, and the IP address is 192.168.1.2, and followed by the command no shut to enable the address. Okay, so now that we have configured the address of the VLAN 1 on the switch, let's go back to the router to configure the DHCP protocol. And we're gonna need to use the set of commands as followed: ipdhcp pool net -pool to enter the DHCP configurations. And let's declare the network on the DHCP config, which is 192.168.1.0, followed by the subnet mask 255.255.255.255, and declaring the address of the default router, which is 192.168.1.1, which is the address that we have configured earlier for the FA00 port of the router 1, and declaring the DNS server, which is 192.168.1.5. So since we are using the IP address 192.168.1.1, we should exclude that one because that IP address is reserved for the router. And let's reserve the IP address that we have done or we have used for the server, which is 192.168.1.5. Okay, and after entering those set of commands, you wouldn't need to manually set up the IP addresses for the PC hosts that we are using on this network. So what we're gonna do instead is we request for a DHCP address. Okay. Alright. As you can see here, we just click the DHCP on the IP configuration of the PC1 connected to the switch 1. So we are automatically given the next usable host, which is 192.168.1.1.11, sorry, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. The DNS server is 192.168.1.5 as we configured earlier, and the default gateway is 192.168.1.1, which is the address of the default router. Okay, so as you can see here, the DHCP request is successful. So let's just request a DHCP address for the rest of the PC. Okay, requesting IP address. Request is successful. As you can see, DHCP requesting successful. Requesting and also successful. Okay, now the next thing that we would like to do is to test and observe the DHCP configuration that we did. So on router 1, let's use the command do show IP DHCP binding. This command would let us know which of the IP addresses available has been listed or has been assigned to a PC. So, okay, so as we can see here, we have 4 IP addresses, which are the same IP addresses that was given on the PC 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, if we ever try to connect another PC or another host to the network, these networks or these IP address will not be given to any other host, so there will be no conflicts on the IP addressing. So DHCP helps us configure IP addresses automatically without the need for us to set the IP address manually. So DHCP helps a lot, especially in designing large networks. And that concludes this laboratory experiment. Have a nice day.